us now, member of the Armed Services Committee, Democratic Congressman Jason Crow of Colorado. He's a former Army Ranger who served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And he was seated in the House gallery when rioters broke through the final barricade. Congressman Jason Crow yesterday released a summary of a phone call with Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, where McCarthy indicated the Defense Department is aware of further possible threats posed by would-be terrorists and is working with local and federal law enforcement to coordinate security preparations. I want to ask you about that in just a moment. But first, if you can tell us what it was like inside there. You have likened it to your service abroad. Can you add some description to what you went through, the people around you, and did you feel that your life was in danger?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. I haven't experienced anything like that in well over 15 years. The last time was in Iraq and Afghanistan. There was a moment for about 30 minutes where almost 24 members of Congress were trapped and surrounded in the House chamber. And I want people to just think about that for a half an hour, there were several dozen members of Congress that were trapped in the House chamber, surrounded by a violent mob. And what's even more shocking is I don't think, and most of us don't think, that they even knew we were in there, they being the police. I don't think, I thought they had lost track of us, that we had been abandoned and left behind. And we're going to find that out, of course, in the days and weeks ahead. But how dangerous it could have been. Many of us did think that we were going to have to make a stand or to fight our way out of there. But we had barricaded the doors. The mob was trying to break the doors down. I had a pin in my pocket that I was getting ready to use to fight my way out. I had asked the other members to take their pins off so that we were less identifiable as a high-value target. It was an extremely dangerous situation.
Looking ahead to inaugural activities, do you think that those who say, oh, we can just wing it, this president can stay, let's just get there, is that a safe bet?
Well, what we saw on Wednesday was a catastrophic security failure. Up until Wednesday, I had confidence in the leadership of the Capitol Police and the sergeants at arms. That confidence was grossly misplaced, as it turns out. There is a tremendous lack of confidence right now and going forward by members of Congress, staff, journalists on the Hill, many of whom I've talked to in the last couple of days don't feel safe returning to the Capitol complex. And I understand that feeling. So what's necessary in the days ahead is that very aggressive measures are put into place, that there's lots of communication, that we are taking measures necessary to reassure folks, but even more importantly, substantively put the security in place that we need to. What we have seen is the birth of a domestic terrorist movement. This is not going away. Donald Trump has radicalized his most fringe supporters. He has given them permission. He has given them license to be violent, to do anything necessary. They, in their own minds, believe themselves to be some sort of revolutionary. These are very dangerous people. They're not going away anytime soon. So we're going to have to make sure that we are working hand in hand with the Biden administration when it comes into office very soon here, to put the people in place within the national security apparatus, the law enforcement, so that we can deal with this in the years to come.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.